Okay, I'm now ringing up Graeme Kenna.
This is the voicemail of Graeme Kenna from the Legal Department for Adult Services in Bradford Council. Please leave a message and I will get back to you.
After you've finished your message, just hang up. Or to hear more options, please press 1.
Oh, yes, hello, Mr. Kenna. It's Mr. Hussain here, once again leaving yourself a daily message to determine or ask you to let me know what's happening with my brother, whom you are now holding in your own lawful care and custody now, 67 days later. I'm ringing you every day because obviously it is yourself that are holding him at custody. You're not providing us with any information regarding his whereabouts or what his health and well-being is or what kind of state he's in or what kind of position you're holding him in. You're not even providing us with the basic of information regarding under what legal framework have you taken my brother and are holding him at ransom right now. You simply got the police to come down and arrest me and remove me and then abducted my brother and then got together with a whole host of lies and deceptions and fraud and corruptions with the police stating that I had killed my brother, and that's what justified the welfare check. And you know, there was no concerns raised by anybody else other than yourselves, whom concurrently are in the backgrounds pulling the strings in the housing association claim. This claim obviously and inevitably is your claim, isn't it? Because the last time we spoke or you discussed this matter with me was in February 2022 when we arrived back at the house. I recall sending you an email asking you if the restrictions that you had put in place from the High Court in my mother's case still stands, and you had indicated no, they had been removed at the death or murder of my mother, and that I could attend the property once again. So I got your permission, and soon as I got your permission, I made provisions to come down, and in the meantime you had recruited your tenant, which is our villainous sister Shida, to clean out the house. And then subsequently, when I came on the property and caught her stealing everything, and may I add, over my Bitcoin wallet has been reported to the police now as being stolen, amongst many other items, I informed you that to come down. You took the key from my hand when you got a High Court order to vacate me from the property. With the police, you had come down then. I gave you the key. It's only incumbent that you should give me the key back. But the problem was that you were looking to effectively kick us out and not get us the tenancy, and you have instructed, you personally as the local authority have instructed the housing association not to give us a tenancy and look to pull this case through the courts and encourage them to pursue litigation action. They would never have pursued litigation action independently. They would have been quite happy to take the tenancy, give my brother a new tenancy. You've left my brother in a situation, my brother Talib in a situation since he was last discharged formally into my care on the 30th of November 2019 up until the 8th of August 2023. You left my brother in a situation where he had no security of accommodation. That's all I was looking to do, was to move the tenancy off my mother's name and onto my brother's name, and you have deliberately made so many stonewalling attempts to prevent that from happening. The local authority, have prevented my brother from having this tenancy agreement, and it started in January 2019 when the tenancy was no longer feasible in my mother's name. I had instructed my mother to sign the tenancy agreement acting as a trustee, and then it was incumbent upon me to act in the best interest of the family, namely put the tenancy on my brother's name so he would have security of accommodation. And you, the local authority, prevented this from happening. You discharged him into my care without any appropriate care package in place. The only care package that you fully had been forced into agreeing to, because it was costing you £289 a night at the Linfield Mount Hospital, is for me to provide care without any money being forwarded to me. And I told you, under these circumstances, I told you a year earlier in January, on the 2nd of January 2018, that I was going to be charging £1 million a week. And then subsequently, you've just disregarded that and put my brother into my care. And now, years later, you've now abducted him without any rights to anything. You're basically using him as a benefit mule. You're using him to exploit all his finances. You're denying him access to any human rights. You are simply looking to end his life now, but after you've plundered all his finances, just as you have done in my mother's case. And this is like a blueprint that you've done to many other elderly and vulnerable adults. You keep on exploiting their vulnerability to your financial gain because you don't have the money, and you're looking to expose your fraud and corruption. Now recently you are no doubt pulling the strings of these court hearings by buying off the judges, as you had previously done in my mother's case. My mother's case, you instigated this, I believe, in on the 22nd of December 2018. Soon as my brother came into my care, soon as my brother was released into my care on the 14th of December 2018, within a week later, within a week later, you had got a court order by District Judge Beckley, to remove my lasting power of attorney for my mother. And so then this saga started in January 2019, that when my brother was being released to me, you were plotting and planning in order to persecute and victimize and target my mother, and you had luckily left my brother alone. You were hoping that by the order that you had received, that you had commissioned basically from the High Courts in February 2021, would mean the fact that you can gain indirect custody of my brother. That did not happen because we ended up going to Oldham, and as a result of going to Oldham, you continuously came up doing welfare checks, traveling from Bradford to Oldham without making any provisions or engagements with me. My brother clearly told your social workers at the time, Fungai Muchichitiri and Baljit Nota, to leave him alone. It is you that have been harassing my brother in order to gain custody of him, so you can financially plunder and profiteer from the assets that I have helped him secure and keep himself. It is you, the local authority, that have acted maliciously, and now all we're asking for is just give us some information. We just want to know where our brother is. All right, you cannot do this. There's international laws preventing this. There's a Human Rights Act that my brother has. We have a right to know where our brother is, and our brother has the right. More importantly, my brother has a right to know where we are. But this is just down to your racist, xenophobic, Islamophobic attitudes towards us, where you go around telling people that you're only acting in my brother's best interest, or the people that you serve's best interest, when the reality is that you're using and manipulating the laws and the courts and the judges and everything in order to victimize and persecute and oppress us. That's what you are. You're torturing us and oppressing us because you can't do your jobs properly. That's what it comes down to. You are paid as a local authority.
You're approaching the maximum allowed time for recording a message. If you wish to record further, please choose the append option from the menu. If you've finished recording, just hang up. If you don't carry on recording or hang up, your message will be deleted. To listen to your message, press 1. To re-record your message, press 2. To continue recording your message, press 3. If you are happy with your message, please record the rest of your message after the tone. When you've finished recording, press the hash key.
And as I was saying, you are torturing and oppressing us simply because you've not been able to do your jobs properly, primarily mismanaging public funds. And when I look to expose you, you have all closed ranks and are targeting and victimizing me and my brother. I need to know where my brother is. My sister in Oldham's worried sick. She's got her own mental health problems, which are being deteriorated by the fact that you are doing this to us. This is not acceptable, Mr. Kenna. You have been fully aware of what's going on. You've been on this case for a long time in my mother's case. You are now once again being involved in my brother's case. There was no final hearing. I did not attend any final hearing in May. It was done clandestinely. We did not receive the order until October. We didn't receive the order until 14th of October 2022, which was issued out in August.
Sorry, but you've reached the maximum time available for recording your message. To listen to your message, press 1. To re-record your message, press 2. If you are happy with your message, press 4. Just message sent. Goodbye.
So yes, we didn't receive this order. So there was something clearly clandestine happening in the concurrent court of protection case that were running before this very same Judge Beckley. So Judge Beckley is one of their stooges. He has been made a judge because the local authority have made a quid pro quo arrangement with him. They have their own stable of judges that they have a quid pro quo arrangement with, and then all that needs to happen is that they've already got the chief of the courts and tribunals, Nick Goodwin, who was previously the public guardian, to be in charge of the courts and tribunal services. And so what they do is that as soon as you take a court, bring a case in court, they steer the case to a judge that works in their best interest. Like in this particular case, it's previously been District Judge Beckley in London in the Court of Protection. It's been District Judge Geddes in Leeds, and now it's District Judge Wilcox and District Judge Mitchell in this present case. So they got these their own judges basically that they have a quid pro quo arrangement with, and that quid pro quo arrangement stems from them and making them judges in the first place. So any case that comes in court before them, they will always be railroaded to the advantage of the local authority. So these are arrangements that they have in place. No doubt this arrangement was in place before District Judge Beckley, and in the concurrent court protection case, we were we were supposed to have a final hearing in in 2022, but I was not invited. Neither was my brother Adalat invited. They did it judiciously without in our absence and awareness, saying that there's enough evidence now on paper to railroad this thing through. So that's what they did in May without my involvement. But in the background, they were colluding and conspiring with the GP practice to retrospectively justify this. When the court order was issued out, we never received a copy of it. Neither me, nor my sister, nor my brother, nobody received a copy of it. But once they had that in their possession, they then started to play little tricks and colluding with new plans with the GP practice in Oldham, with the housing association here, in order to get a gas safety inspector to enter the property in order to justify they've been desperately trying to justify their intrusion into our life by getting somebody to make a false flag safeguarding alert, because that's what triggers it. A concern from a member of the public, or a professional, will trigger a safeguarding alert, which will then allow them to do a welfare check, which will then allow them to abuse their powers, to break into the doors, come into our house, search our house, steal people, steal money, steal property. So it all becomes then they can use the police's power under pace, arrest somebody and just search everything that they want. So they've already been planning this last year with the assistance of the Court of Protection, with the Courts and Tribunal Services, with District Judge Foster, to get a court order with penal notices to force a gas safety inspection. And then obviously, when they've come down, I've seen through this, they've not been allowed, the housing association, gas safety inspectors have not been allowed onto the property. They've then instigated a welfare check irrespectively, despite never coming in. So that was a false flag fraud, and then it all fell apart last year. And in the background, they had, by this stage in August 2022, stopped my carers allowance payments without my awareness or notice. This is all working together. So last year, how many people were working together? There was the housing association, the housing association solicitor, the courts and tribunal services, the district judge Foster, the Department of Work and Pensions, the GP practice in Oldham, Dr. Freed of Greenbank Medical Practice. All of these people were colluding and conspiring in order... They were the professionals colluding and conspiring. They got my niece Shagufta to come down on the 11th of September to try to raise that false flag safeguarding alert. She then met us on the 7th of October and couldn't justify making a safeguarding alert. Then they got our brother involved to try to poison us so we would end up needing emergency care services. All of this was conspiring, and in the background, they were also colluding with my own GP, Dr. John Connolly of Bevan Healthcare. All of these professions have been colluding and conspiring in order to abduct my brother last year, and they just simply could not get the matter through. And then subsequently, they've been just persistently doing things. In April this year, buying off the judges, His Honor Judge Grosnell and District Judge Mitchell, and trying to railroad this matter through. And finally, when they got the police to come and arrest me, that's what's done it. They've abused their position to get the police involved, falsely arrest me. Now the police won't even engage with me, even though they put me on a bail condition that I can't even see my brother. I abducted my brother. That was quite clearly a contrivance, because they've come into the house and taken my brother's passports. How did they know? I mean, it's not the case that they found my brother with anything in poor condition. condition that justified me not seeing him? What justified them coming to my house and taking my brother's passports, among other valuable things, but not taking his clothes? And then a bunch of lies and deceptions, and now they've got my brother holding him at hostage at ransom, years later without providing us with any information. This is simply ridiculous on their part, and it's distressing and alarming that they can get away with it. But they all close ranks: the GP practices, the healthcare professionals, the police force, the local authority. Any and all professionals will collude and conspire under the guise of safeguarding to target and victimize me, including bringing into that enterprise my own nefarious and villainous siblings and family members, such as my niece Shagufta, such as my sister Shaida, such as my brother Adalat and my sister Khalda. They will quite happily bring those individuals in to their narrative or their enterprise that they're looking to target and abuse vulnerable people in order to make financial profit and gain for themselves. This is the same playbook that they are now in the process of using, that they used in my mother's case, in order to financially plunder her and profiteer from her and send her into like £40,000 of debt after she's died, after they had dissipated all the money that I had helped accumulate. This is exactly what they did in 2014 when they murdered my brother Nazim. Got everybody to collude and conspire in order to frame me for my brother's murder, then all falling apart. And this, inshallah, will also fall apart, but it may endanger my brother's life. And this is why I'm making these recordings, because for 67 days, every single day, my brother's life is being endangered, because I'm his primary carer and they're refusing to engage with me or tell me what's happening. And 67 days later, they're refusing to engage with me. For 67 days, every single day, my brother's life's being endangered. And for every single day, I'm charging the local authority £1 million because they are knowingly committing fraud and deception and looking to endanger my brother's life by looking to target me and psychologically torture me, because that's all they can do is torture, murder, manipulate, and destroy. They cannot do anything through love or compassion or empathy or acting with benevolence. They're a malevolent, vicious, vindictive organization that only cares for themselves, a parasite on society, a truly heinous organization that goes around telling everybody that they're an emblem of benevolence and goodness, because they're there to provide the care and support for vulnerable people, which they're getting from government money, when the reality is that all they take, and the thing is, they're so sadistic, they take pleasure in your suffering. So they will take sadistic pleasure in your suffering by manipulating the situation to your detriment, and then say that, oh no, it's not our fault, blame God, when it's yourselves that are taking sadistic pleasure in seeing us suffer and taking pleasure in our suffering. The best personification of the local authority is someone like Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile personifies and encapsulates Bradford Council so eloquently, so brilliantly.